Hey, my lovely people. Welcome back to A Black Cat's Voice. I'm here with a brand new episode for you guys. But before I start talking about today's topic, I just wanted to say happy October, you guys. Woo, happy October. All right. We made it to another new month of another crazy ass year. And hopefully 2021 will just calm it down a little bit and better days will be coming from here on out. I'm just really hoping that for myself and for everybody out there listening. But anyways, on today's episode, I want to talk about seasonal changes. So, the weather isn't the only thing that goes through changes in life. You have to be mindful of what you do and what you don't choose to change. So, I truly believe when it comes to everything in your life, everything has a season. Not everything is meant to be lifelong. Not everything is meant to be permanent. Actually everything is temporary because we never know what's coming next. So even though we may love for a lifetime and we may want certain things for a lifetime, everything is temporary. And some people are really only meant to be in your life for a season. When it comes to meeting new people or when you look back on those friendships, those relationships, I don't know about y'all, but myself personally, I always remember there being so many red flags. I feel like as people, we tend to ignore red flags because we just want to keep what we want. Who doesn't want that friendship with this girl who seems cool or, the relationship with the guy that you're really attracted to and no one's ever made you feel like he had, who doesn't want that? But a lot of the times these people show us so many red flags and we just choose to ignore it because we want to keep them in our life. Sometimes people make us so comfortable that we don't want to let go. Sometimes you spend years, around a person or with a person, dating a person, and you just get so comfortable and so complacent with having them in your life that you're willing to ignore all the toxic traits that accompany them being in your life. Do you know how many years of my life I spent being friends with people who clearly showed me they weren't my friend? I'm talking these people really crossed the line. I've had people steal from me. I've had people lie on my name, try to defame my character, just all these ridiculous things. And I would still keep them consistent in my life because I just didn't want to be alone. It felt better to me to have a shitty friend than to not have friends at all. And it wasn't until I got older and let these people go that I realized that friendship was never meant to last those many years. That friendship was never meant to last decades or however long it was. Sometimes people are really meant to only be in your life for a season. Even some jobs. I truly believe some jobs are meant to be seasonal. Now, I'm not encouraging unemployment. I'm not saying go quit your job tomorrow. No, that absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that sometimes a job isn't the right fit. And we know that, we recognize it, we're cognizant of it, and we still stay there. Some jobs are really meant to only be stepping stones. Why? So many people will try to become management or do become management at jobs that they hate. If you really don't like working there in the first place, becoming a manager and having more responsibility, potentially having to work longer hours, that's not going to put you in a better position. But sometimes we just look at how much we're going to get paid or, the benefits of being management versus the benefit of finding a job that actually makes us happy. A lot of us out here, and I know even myself personally, a lot of people out here are sleeping on their talent. And I'm just really here to let you know that you don't want to retire without at least trying to land your dream job. You know, not everybody gets to live their dream life. Not everybody gets to work their dream job. But if you don't at least attempt to go after that life at least once, at least apply for that job at least once, you're going to hate yourself. You're really going to hate yourself at the end of your employment, because you're always going to have that what if in your head. You know, don't be scared to try something new. Sometimes you gotta really make that leap to have, you know, better than what you have. Even actually some habits, I feel like a lot of habits are only meant to be kept for a certain period of time. A lot of habits are seasonal too. And I feel like a lot of us may not always recognize this, because we'll always say like, oh, this is just something I'm doing for now. You know, oh, this is just a little thing I do for now. I remember being younger and being a person who would say like, oh, I'm just having a drink for now. I'm just having a drink tonight. Or, oh, I'm just treating myself tonight. And it literally turned into me drinking almost every single day. Because that habit that I kept saying, oh, this is just for now, it turned into a daily habit, and I didn't even recognize it until I was already in the habit of doing it. You know, I didn't recognize that I was consuming a lot of alcohol until I took a step back and realized, okay, this clearly isn't just for now. If I'm coming to this bar and they already know my order, maybe this isn't a just for now habit. If I feel like when I eat a meal, I want to have a drink with it every single meal, that's a problem. You know, that's not a good habit to keep. And I had to really recognize that among so many other things for myself. And a lot of us, especially as adults, sometimes we feel like it's too late. And I'm just here to let you know that it's never too late to try something new. And it's never too late to build a healthy habit. Like, another example, I used to really feel controlled by my anger. You know, I used to get so mad, so pissed off, and I was really in the habit of telling people off. You know, like I would cuss people out and I would really let them have it. I would really let people have it because I couldn't control my anger. And it really became such a habit that whenever somebody would trigger me or get me to that point, I felt like I had to tell them off. I felt like I had to let them know. And when I realized that it wasn't making me feel better to cuss all these people out and to just feel so angry, I decided to work on something else. You know, every time I got mad at somebody, instead of cussing them out, I would let it be. I would, oh, okay, that's fine. Or I would remove myself from the situation if possible. I would just leave, just walk away, just block the person, whatever. And I started writing letters to people when I got angry. Instead of telling them whatever it is I wanted to tell them, I would write it down. And the more I got in the habit of doing that, it really helped me to learn to express my emotions. It really helped me to learn how to process everything, so I don't have to feel bad for cussing somebody out. You know, I don't have to feel bad for cussing out my auntie, because it's kind of like, dang, like, I love my auntie, but she really had the right one. And I would feel bad, even though my anger made me talk to them however I spoke to them. After the fact, I would still feel bad, because if I love you, I don't want to hurt you. And once I got in the habit of expressing that anger in a different way, it just got a lot better for me. And I'm just saying all this to say that it's never too late to start a new habit. If you recognize something about yourself, about your emotions that you don't like, change it. You can start off with one small thing, and it can really change your life. It can really turn into something bigger. Me writing, do y'all know how stupid I felt the first time I let somebody cuss at me or talk to me in a ludicrous manner and I didn't say anything, and I went home and wrote a letter in my head and out loud as I'm writing this letter, I'm like, this is so stupid. I should have slapped her in the face, or you know what? I should have really beat the bitch up for talking to me like that. And I'm not encouraging violence, you guys, not at all. But I'm just saying, I felt so stupid doing that, and doing that one time made me feel better. Until it became just a habit. I'm not going to become angry because you're angry. I'm not going to let you make me angry. I'm going to remove myself. And I'm going to let my anger out in a different way. I'm going to do what makes me happy and what makes me not have to apologize or regret my own actions at the end of the day. It's never too late to try something new. It's never too late to change your habits. So I just really want you guys to know that the seasons really shouldn't be the only things that change in your life. You have to make those necessary changes, and you can build better habits at any time. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how young you are. You can change your life at any time. You can change your habits at any time. You can change your surroundings at any time. But you have to put in the work and make those seasonal changes. Thank you guys so much for listening. Take care and stay safe.